What it do? It's DOA back with another episode of Putting It Together. Shoot, we on Dion and Sheduer today, man. Once again, trying to stay away from it. I guess I'm gonna have to get used to doing my takes on some of these popularized topics a little bit quicker. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I really be watching the news and the media to see if anybody's gonna keep it real on some of these topics like Shannon Sharp, Shador, etc., etc. I'll be wishing and hoping that somebody's gonna keep it real about the shit so I don't have to make no tape about it. But I guess that's how I kind of came into this world, into this podcast world, is knowing that most people is not gonna give real nigga takes on this shit. So here I am, without further ado, having a comment on Sheduer Sanders and Deion Sanders. And first of all, I'm gonna say, because there's a narrative out there that everybody's against Deion Sanders, right? I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I mean, just look at Deion Sanders and the amount of press he has received, mostly being positive. You could tell that the machine is behind Deion Sanders because he has dominated the news for, I mean, over a year now, it seems like. Ever since he was leaving Jackson State, and even at Jackson State, he got plenty of press and publicity, and most of it being good. Speaking about how he was coaching his sons and Jackson State's record and all of that with the HBCU. So when he transitioned, when he was looking to come to the FBS, to the Division I schools or whatever, he was getting the most coverage I've ever seen. They talking about he should go to Florida State and he should go here and there and everywhere. He ended up at Colorado, and I mean the press continued. You know what I'm saying? He's really dominated the news media since his conception into that football world. So, you know, if you look back on the history of Deion Sanders, a lot of y'all might not know, but on the same token, a lot of people do. Deion used to dress up in tutus and shit for the powers that be. So, am I to think that he's not in the good graces with the powers that be? I don't believe that. Deion was doing everything from, of course, what he was doing on the field to, like I said, wearing dresses off the field, trying to be a rapper when you're a two-sport athlete, pro athlete, still trying to be a part of like rap culture and all of that, trying to be a rapper himself, when really, I mean, he didn't need that. So you can tell he's being influenced by the machine. He's a product and a puppet of the machine, just from the moves that Deion himself have made. But in the case of Sheduer Sanders, man, I'm gonna just keep it real with you on just starting off with the talent. Sheduer Sanders, from the knee down, just from the knees down, looks like a bow-legged chick from the hood. This nigga don't look like no athlete. I'm sorry. I seen a lot of athletes. I myself am an athlete. Come from a pretty prominent family of athletes. Sheduer Sanders, I've been telling people since we've been forced to watch him. He's not no real athlete. His talent as a quarterback is questionable at best, for real. And like I said, we just look at him from the knees down, bro. He look like the bow-legged chick in the hood who was chasing all the niggas around but could never catch one. You know what I'm saying? And he don't have speed. He doesn't have any kind of exceptional speed. He barely looks like he lifts any weights. Besides lifting them big ass chains and them watches, he don't look like he spent a lot of time lifting any substantial amounts of weights. Um, just don't look like an athlete to me, you know? And when you watch him play, it's like, bro, he holds the ball for too damn long. Like he holds that ball like he's holding his firstborn son. You know what I'm saying? That shit's not gonna transfer well into the NFL. That equals sack. Tell me how a quarterback has the Heisman Trophy winning receiver slash DB on their team and they holding the ball probably longer than anybody else in college football. You got access to what they calling the best weapon in college football. That's who you getting to throw the ball to. Yet you holding that shit for too damn long. I ain't gonna say Travis Hunter's not good because he is, but I don't think he's gonna be quite as good as the machine has pumped him up to seem like he is. And that's another product of the Deion Sanders machine is the amount of publicity that Travis Hunter received. And you know, he probably be decent, but I just don't feel like he's gonna be no astronomical talent in the NFL, like they would want you to believe. But back to Sheduer, like he's a coach's son, and I don't know when y'all start trying to make it seem like the coach's son doesn't come with a stigma attached, with a negative stigma attached. Like the coach's son is already an entitled person. Whenever we spoke about the coach's son, it's like the nigga who gets the opportunity to start, no matter if he's really the best at his position or not. So he's only been coached by Deion, which is a problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course you'll want Deion to help develop his talent. Deion being such a talented athlete in his own right, but he's never had the opportunity to be coached by anybody else, so you really don't know how he's going to react to somebody else giving him orders and instruction. On top of it, it's like where a player who grew up in less entitled household to begin with would have some level of humility built into himself. Like, I don't know that he looks at other men as being able to provide him with things that can be to his benefit. Whereas you've always received things from your dad, you're not gonna really look to anybody else, any man else out there and think, hey, he could probably provide me with something. And I'm not talking monetary, but the monetary aspect kind of translates across the board to where when, especially with him, because his logo itself is a dollar sign. So it's like, man, they really idolize money and they look like they would do anything for some money. And Deion's kind of been like that. So he gets it honest to where they really idolize money and think that that's the end all be all. If you ain't got no money, you ain't got shit for me. Whereas I've been given a lot of great things from people who were not what you would call rich. I've been given rich things from people who weren't monetarily rich. Lots of wisdom from great men who wasn't necessarily monetarily rich. So I got a certain level of respect for just wisdom and knowledge, no matter who it's coming from. Whereas Sheduer don't look like he got any of that in his system. He don't look like he understands that part of the game at all. You know, it's like all about the money to him and status. So, you know, we watch them dominate the media and really be a distraction to the game of football, even in college. It's like we talking about the Colorado Buffaloes out the Big 12 as if they're in contention for some type of national championship. And that was the narrative for a point in time. You had a lot of these black media outlets, even white ones who are Team Dion, part of the machine. They wanted to convince you preseason, early season, halfway through the year that the Colorado Buffaloes was going to be a threat to the national championship in some way, shape, or form. And it just wasn't true. And they dominated the sports news to such a degree where it eclipsed people who deserve the accolades. Just like we watched in this draft, everybody's waiting and talking about Sheduer, but Cam Ward went #1, and he had a story that was worth telling. He had applause that needed to be given, flowers that needed to be doled out, based on his achievements in college football to get to where he was. But instead, what dominated the draft was Sheduer Sanders, who's a 5th-round pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th round pick. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so. Like I said, he holds the ball too long. He does not look like he works hard or is athletic. He's not big. He doesn't have a strong arm. He's, decently accurate, but a lot of quarterbacks are accurate, especially at the college level. You get a nice degree of accuracy, so it was like nothing to write home about. And just a smaller guy, smaller arm, coming from a smaller conference with less comp, and he's not fast. His decision making is questionable at best, and he's a distraction. So it's like you have no real standout qualities, and your personality is a distraction to all things around you. Like you always gotta eclipse everything that's going on around you, and it's really with no justification. Like no talent to back it up, no merit to back it up, which is crazy. Then he got his jersey retired. It's like a lot of the things that we know him for so far is really just based on his dad. It's almost like Dion's reliving his childhood through Sheduer, or he has too much projection into Sheduer's life. It's like he wants him to be out here like he's a mini rapper. He's a mini rapper athlete when the talent in either one of those fields is not there to support that notion. So he's not talented enough to be a rapper. He's not really talented enough to be anybody's starting quarterback in the NFL. It's really questionable if he really even should have made it. I guess you could say he could have made it, but yeah, he's got like Brock Purdy measurables. And that's really a slash to Brock Purdy for real, because we seen what Brock Purdy's been able to do with his starts, and to be honest, it looked like a lot, but it ain't much because Brock Purdy's surrounded with some exceptional talent, and he is a decent quarterback, but we don't even know if Sheduer will be that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, stature-wise, measuring up, they about the same, and they need a special type of offense for them to thrive in. And Sheduer only knows how to play one way for real because he's been coached by Dion all his life. And yeah, we yet to see if he can fit into anybody else's system. But it's funny he went to the Browns, and the Browns is just the Cleveland Clowns, man. They've been known for making terrible decisions as far as picking quarterbacks and talent. They've just made terrible mistakes. And I feel like if the Browns could not get Deshaun Watson, who is an exceptional talent, um, in all phases of the quarterback game, he's an exceptional talent. If they couldn't get him to do nothing, I just don't see any way they gonna get Sheduer Sanders to do any damn thing exceptional. I can't see it. I mean, all he really does is flaunt wealth, and that's weird to me too because here's the thing, like you'll see you'll see black youths that's come from, I guess, an inner city environment or a somewhat hectic environment that they grew up in. You'll see when they get money, they do a lot of the things, the stereotypical things we see black folk do with money, wear the jewelry and be flashy and all of this, but it's somewhat excusable, somewhat, because when you're not used to having and then you get money, you often want to show it off. Like you're so proud that it makes you want to show it off to some degree. So that's where you get some of that hip hop culture and that black culture, that the popular black culture, where you see guys being somewhat flamboyant with wealth. But the thing with Sheduer Sanders is like you damn near like a Baron Trump, and of course not that degree of wealth, but you came up with money. You like a Bronny James. Why are you out here showing us all this jewelry and chains and the watch celebration and all this shit? Like, who thinks that you are broke? Nobody ever thought Sheduer Sanders was broke. Hey, nigga, and we watched you get an NIL deal that really don't make no sense. You in Colorado, bro. Y'all are really not doing much to write home about, but you got a $6 million NIL deal. On top of already being a little rich nigga. Like, you a little Bronny James, but you want to show us every watch in your daddy house. And it don't make no sense. It's like, you capping at that point. You putting on for the fucking TV at that point because you showing us something as if you're super excited that you got it, when really that's all you know. All you know is money, nigga. You ain't never had to struggle for shit for real. So why is you showing us all these chains and watches as if you had to struggle and grind to get them? You didn't have to do shit to get them for real. So it's like he's kind of obnoxious in those regards. Like, you're obnoxious and pompous, bro. Like, you showing us, it'd be like Baron Trump pulling out and showing us all the gold furniture and all of his cars and his chains and his, like, Baron Trump had no reason to show us that because nobody thinks Baron Trump is broke. Nobody has ever thought Baron Trump was broke. Nobody ever thought Bronny James was broke. So Bronny James showing us a whole bunch of chains is really unnecessary, nigga. You didn't go from ashy to classy. You went from classy to fucking sassy, my nigga. And it's kind of disgusting for real. It just reeks of entitlement. So, I know a lot of black folk and folks who's bought into the machine, they don't want to hear this take on Sheduer Sanders. I wish I had gave him before the draft because I felt like that all this time. I'm surprised that the machine didn't go ahead and draft him higher just because they had hyped him up so much. But I'm glad that when the rubber met the road and it was time to get drafted into the professional league of the NFL, that they came back to their senses and gave you a true evaluation. Because, I mean, hopefully this starts the accountability train for Sheduer Sanders. But, you know, it's yet to be seen. But I'll go ahead and make my projection that I don't think he's going to do much in the NFL. And every time we see a player clips the rest of their team and things like that unnecessarily, unjustifiably, it doesn't really work out well. Y'all know how I feel about Lamar Jackson. He's almost one of those people too, but Lamar Jackson come from humble beginnings, so some of the things that he do is justified, and he has a level of humility built into himself, having come from these humble beginnings. But there was a hype train behind Lamar Jackson. If y'all remember, Lamar Jackson won the Heisman and was the last pick in the first round, and everybody thought he should have went higher. But to tell you the truth, he was missing some crucial things. And as you see him surrounded by Pro Bowlers in the NFL, he's yet to be able to accomplish what a lot of the people who rode the hype train would have thought he would be able to accomplish, which was getting a Super Bowl. And I told people he would not get that because he has holes in his game that cannot be filled up with Pro Bowlers. Like, at the end of the day, you the quarterback and you need a certain level of play. And they want him to be the reason why they win. And he has these holes in his game that is never going to make him the reason why you win. It's similar to LeBron James in that sense, where he's great in a lot of ways, but he's not clutch. And that's the same thing with Lamar. And the thing is that he gets so much attention that it eclipses people on his team that also are deserving of attention, that may be even deserving of more attention. They'll never get it with this nigga on their team. And that's going to be the same case with Sheduer. Like, no matter who's on the Browns, Sheduer is going to get the most attention, no matter even if he plays bad, which is bad for your morale of your team. It's terrible for the locker room environment, which will translate to people not playing their best on the field. So I think he's going to be his own worst enemy like he has been. His dad probably going to be his second worst enemy, maybe vice versa on that, but it's just not going to go well. But, I had to get my 2 cents on it. DOA, putting it together. We going to catch you on the next one.